What's up, y'all? Ivan here from the Ivan Rides YouTube channel. It's 6:30 in the morning and we're taking the subway into the city to pick up our new bike. So sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. It's good to have you on board today. I want to do a quick thank you and shout out to the two people that help make this bike happen. First and foremost, thank you and shout out to Johnny Prime for introducing us to the Chimera almost a year and a half ago, and thank you for setting up the Electric Wednesday that brought Austin over to the East Coast. And second, thank you to Austin, the founder of Chimera, for building such an epic bike and for sending over this particular one as a demo unit for people to try at Electric Wednesday. Once I got to try this bike again, I made the inquiry to see if it was available for purchase, and thankfully it was. So yeah, here we are. Before we pit this bike against New York City's early rush hour traffic, I want to tell you a little bit more about it. This is a 52-volt competitor package Shadow Chimera. It has upgraded batteries, the upgraded brakes, the updated controller, and the weight savings package. The difference between the original Chimera and the Shadow Chimera is the Shadow comes with this beautiful heat-treated 4130 chromoly steel frame. And powering this bike is the 52-volt 10-amp-hour battery pack that's comprised of monocell P50B cells. This controller should need no introduction on the channel. This is the potted and tuned Handlworks Back 855. With the new potting, you end up with cleaner wiring while also giving you higher water resistance. That Handlworks Back 855 will then feed this beast of a patented motor known as the High Drive. Now, Austin himself designed this system, and this motor is capable of producing up to 3,800 watts of power. It's also going to deliver a tremendous amount of torque. With all that power, we need a way to stop the bike. It comes with a Magura MT5 and MT4 set, as well as Magura Storm rotors. And finally, this bike comes with the full titanium and weight savings package. That means the fork and handlebars are titanium, the new spinal cranks are titanium, as well as all the bolts on the bike are made out of titanium. In order to save a little bit more weight, the tubes are also the Tubolito tubes. What all that really means is this bike is capable of doing over 35 miles an hour while delivering about 20 miles of range, while keeping the whole package under 42 pounds, making it super duper light. And now that we're done here, let's go home, guys. All right, so we just had to spend a few minutes there kind of dialing in where the brakes are and where the throttle is, because this is the first time that I am taking the Chimera out on the road in New York City. It's different when you have like a closed course where we're testing it out, like the loop that we did with Johnny Prime's bike, the loop that we did with Marcos's bike, and the loop that we did during Electric Wednesday. And also, even though I did get to ride this in California, it's very different riding there. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm comfortable with it before we get 1000% completely focused on this ride. I want to make a huge announcement here. We are officially affiliated with Chimera Cycles. So if you want to get a Chimera electric BMX of your own, you can now use the code IBANRIDES to save some money on your new bike. With that said, if you want to support the channel, there are going to be affiliate links and affiliate codes down below for these companies. Purchasing from those links and codes will generate a small commission for the channel that helps me with operating costs, while helping you save some money on something you were planning on purchasing. So thank you so much for your continued support. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Another thing that I do have to get used to on top of the throttle placement here is the lack of mirrors. So I am going to be looking over my shoulder quite a bit on this ride, especially if I'm going to be changing lanes. So the X5 may not be able to keep up, but I gotta make it home to the wife and kid, right? So let's do that. And also, when I get home, I'm probably going to switch this throttle to the thumb throttle position. It's probably going to be more comfortable if I can push that way, or I may try one of my Polish trigger throttles at home. So fun thing about the titanium fork and bars here that you're seeing, the titanium is going to be better at reducing the vibrations, like the road vibrations. So it should be a more comfortable, smoother ride on the hand. I mean, it's not going to do anything about these like asteroid-sized potholes that we have here in New York City, but everything else, it should do a much better job than just standard, what is going on there, steel handlebars and forks. Also, with the quote-unquote added weight, I'm doing air quotes here, of the steel frame, the Chimera should also feel a little bit more planted than the full titanium. Other thing to note here is I took the phone off the middle there. I couldn't stand it and it really irritated the heck out of me looking at how ugly it was over there. So don't worry, I'm gonna take that off. So if you're like, "Hey man, that thing is so ugly with that thing there," yeah, I know. I hate cluttered displays and cluttered handlebars. And that's the thing about getting a new PEV. You have to take your time getting to know it. I usually say it takes about 100 miles to really get to know the PEV that you're on, just because I have like tens and thousands of miles under my belt on high performance scooters, modded e-bikes, regular e-bikes, and all the above. Doesn't mean that it's going to translate well on the Chimera, because it is going to behave differently than all the other bikes, because the geometry is different, the motor is different, the setup is different. So I will be a little bit more conservative here than usual and try to really learn this bike. You know, honestly, the bike handles these bumps really well. I mean, you're gonna have a problem if you hit a pothole going faster than 30 something miles an hour, but most bikes are gonna have that issue as well. And that is also half user error there, because you shouldn't be speeding in an area that you don't know anyway. So that is something that I learned while riding my Burn E. You know what? We're gonna swing around this way and see if we can get around all this nonsense. So like I was saying, that's something that I learned on the Burn E very quickly, is if you speed and you don't know where you're going, you end up with you end up with a couple of broken rims. And I personally broke about I believe 5 rims on the Burn E, because I got a little too overconfident and I was speeding. Next thing you know, a pothole comes up in an area I'm not familiar with, and pop, $200 rim that needs to be changed out. So yeah, that's why I'm always very conservative in the first 100 miles, really trying to get to know a PEV. You know what? I may make this, nope, I can't make this right here because this is where the UN is. And, oh, that's why it is a hot mess here in Midtown. It is UN General Assembly Week. Yeah, the gridlock is just way too tight. And there's just so little room to navigate in between the vehicles over there that I don't want to take those chances. So maybe cutting through these side streets will give me a better route through. All these freaking Diplomat Escalades, man, are just massive and completely unnecessary here in New York City. Now that we've kind of sorted the traffic out over here, let's talk about why I picked up the Chimera. You know, we have a little one on the way, and I do have to be a little bit more, I have to be a lot more price conscious of what I'm spending my money on, because I have to think about a family of 3 now instead of a family of 2. So what's happening here is, with the addition of this bike, I am going to be getting rid of 1, maybe 2 bikes, depending on how much space we need for the little one. The reason why I wanted this bike is because, with kind of like poop hitting the fan here in New York City in regards to like the e-bike bans and the checkpoints and all that crazy stuff now, I find myself moving towards smaller, nimble, lighter bikes, while the rest of the community is still kind of pursuing like heavy e-moto style bikes. And for me, the Chimera has always been like the perfect balance of high performance and completely under the radar, because all I really have to do is to hide this thing is take this really, really light battery pack and put it in my backpack, and no one would know that it is an e-bike. Dealing with the checkpoints and potential impounding is something that I am not really interested in, so the Chimera is the best solution when it comes to all of that. Also, at work now, I've had to carry my bikes up and down 3 flights of stairs on the weekend. So that means something lighter that takes less of a toll on my back is welcome, because 3 flights of stairs is doable with the Super73 and the Zooz, but my back hurts. I remember I used to get this guy that used to comment on my videos, and he'd be like, "You're just weak, you're a weak city person," and I'm like, I am. Before we get on this bridge, now is a good time to say, if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and if you really enjoyed it, consider hyping it up. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the bike or what's on it. I or our friends at Chimera will be more than happy to answer your question. If you really, really like the channel and you want to support and you want to be part of the family, there is going to be an icon here on the bottom right with my logo on it. Just click on that and it'll automatically subscribe you to the channel, but be sure to turn on that notification so that I can notify you anytime a video comes out. I forget how insane the power is on this thing. Like, jeez, man. That is crazy. Okay. We gotta be sensible again, y'all. We gotta be sensible here. I like these tires. They're super grippy. I wonder how they are though with puncture resistance, because that would be kind of like my biggest concern with any tire that I'm not really familiar with. Is I have about 1,900 miles on the tires on the Zooz and over 3,000 miles on my tires on the Super 73. They're not as cool looking as some of the tires that we see out there, but they do a amazing job not getting flats, and that is like, again, priority for me. So yeah, let's see. The moment I get a bike, I usually start thinking about what kind of mods I'm gonna put on here. I don't really think I'm gonna do much to the bike. Maybe I'll change the grips, and maybe we'll get a nice little powder coating on the frame in the next couple of months. But honestly, I still gotta finish that Super 73 ZX, and that is woohoo! That bike is not gonna complete itself. Awkward laugh, right? Ooh, that torque. Oh man, that torque is crazy. Up. I went this way because I know they're doing the roads on this street, and I wanted to see what it's like to ride the Chimera on these roads. This is about as bad as it gets here in New York City. So let me get in front of the Tesla here. The Tesla. Yeah, it's really not that bad. So the thing is, just like any like hardtail with no suspension, you just got to put a little pressure on the pedals and lift your butt off of it a little bit during those parts, and it is quite nice. I don't know if I'm going to kind of try to ruin the aesthetic here by putting on a suspension seat post. I am not a BMXer, so we are not going to be doing any kind of stunts here, but it might be nice. What is going on here? You know, as this video comes to a close, I want to thank you for coming along. Thank you for spending a part of your day with us here on the channel. And that is my first ride on my new Shadow Chimera. Again, please give Austin and Chimera another warm welcome to the channel. This bike is going to be here for a while, and we look forward to having him here. Now, I do get that my videos only come out once a week, so if you're looking for something to watch in the meantime, I do have a ton of playlists that you can check out with everything from reviews to overviews to full commute experience videos, and we even have like playlists that are dedicated to specific PEVs. So if you're looking for something to watch, check them out. And with that said, I think we're going to call it a day over here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, everyone. Bye.